The purpose of this video is to give you a little sense of this experiment we're going to do tomorrow. The experiment is called a decomposition of water, and I'm going to walk you through about what is sort of the purpose behind this experiment and what you will be doing during the lab class tomorrow. So decomposition is one of the chemical reactions you read about, but decomposition occurs when one substance breaks down or decomposes into two or more substances. If you recall from your notes, you learned it in this format. AB goes to A plus B. So in decomposition reaction, you take something apart. In our experiment, we're going to be taking apart water. And we're going to be doing it by running a small amount of electricity through it. Now water, many of you are familiar or should know, is H2O. When you take water and you split it apart, you get hydrogen gas and you get oxygen gas. And that's exactly what's going to happen in our lab tomorrow. We're going to decompose water into hydrogen and oxygen gas. So water molecules have two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen that they're sort of chemically bonded. When you separate them, this is called a chemical reaction because you're actually making something new. If you look at hydrogen, hydrogen particles look very different from the oxygen particles. There's no more oxygen attached to it. You have actually separated things and made something new and different. And oxygen also is very different in its appearance and its properties than it was before when it was in water. Also remember when we talked about that water properties are very different from hydrogen and oxygen's properties. Hydrogen is flammable, oxygen is flammable, they're both gases, and together they make liquid water that puts out fire. So this is a lab setup. You're going to have a power supply here with the setup also, as shown in this picture. And there's going to be a tub which you're going to fill with water and two test tubes that you're also going to fill with water. These two test tubes, when you fill them up with water, you're going to put them over these electrodes. These electrodes, these two rods that are sticking out, are going to connect to the negative and positive end of the power supply, and they're going to send a current, a jolt of electricity through the water. And as it sends this electricity through the water water molecules are going to break apart into hydrogen and oxygen gas. Now, the very important question to think about is how will you know which gas is hydrogen and which gas is oxygen? They both are sort of clear in their appearances. They are gases. So the hydrogen gas and the oxygen gas can be determined if you look at the chemical formula. It's H2O. So think about what we have learned in class, that the subscript of 2 next to hydrogen tells you how many hydrogen atoms there are for every oxygen atom. So tomorrow during class, I'm going to talk to you about how you know that which gas is hydrogen and which gas is oxygen. Once you know which gas is most likely hydrogen and which gas is most likely oxygen, you're going to do two different tests to prove if it's hydrogen or oxygen gas. For the hydrogen gas, you're going to take a burning splint. You're going to take a wooden splint, burn it, and when you put the wooden splint into the test tube, it's going to make a loud popping sound. Oxygen gas, we all know oxygen is essential for burning. So in the case of oxygen gas, you're going to take a glowing splint and you're going to put it into the test tube and what will happen is the glowing splint will relight if it's oxygen gas. So these are the two tests that you're going to do to conclude that you actually had hydrogen and oxygen gases. So I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, and we can answer a couple more questions. I can show you a few more things, and we can do this experiment hopefully and come prepared with lots of questions.